Hello, everybody, and welcome here inside of Hot Springs County High School, home of the Bobcats. About ready to start here for some varsity volleyball action in the 2A Northwest, featuring the Thermopolis Bobcats and the Shoshoni Lady Wrangler, or I guess the Blue, Lady Blue. I botched that so badly, good Lord. The Thermopolis Bobcats and the Shoshoni Wranglers going toe-to-toe here, as the Thermopolis Bobcats coming off of a loss to Lovell. And I believe, actually, I do not know how they did against Wind River, actually. I completely forgot that they played that game. Let me just get that 1 second. Okay, Max Preps, or don't cooperate with me. That'd be great, too. Oh, yeah. Thermopolis actually, I think they did take down Wind River, actually. So with that, so they are, I guess they do have a win. We admitted that from our Facebook post earlier, but national anthems are coming up. We're going to take this time to say this game is brought to you by Kirby Consulting, your elite oil field professional since 2014, serving the Rockies and the Great Plains. Kirby Consulting is a proud sponsor of Thermopolis Volleyball on Two Basins Sports Network. Well, the national anthems are getting ready to be played here, so with that, we'll be back after the pregame festivities in just a moment. I talk you back here inside of Hot Springs County High School here at the Bobcat Den. Varsity Volleyball on Two Basins Sports Network, brought to you by Kirby Consulting. With that being said, the second to last scheduled varsity broadcast of the season for us here on TBSN. course, might actually be a chance we might not be able to go to Grable tomorrow. Just our car is not back yet, and well, let's just say I do not trust my grandmother's SUV to get me to Grable. So, but anyway, with that being said, we also have a football score update for you here. The Thermopolis Bobcats took on the Mountain View Buffaloes, the second best team in 2A. And the Thermopolis Bobcats were down 0-21 at halftime. Unfortunately, not much better news from there. They did lose to the Buffaloes, but it wasn't nearly as bad. The Bobcats actually managed to claw back, and they only lost 28-21. Still a disappointing loss, but hey, I mean, that shows a lot of stuff here that they can run with the best of them. So I think that should be a lot of there should be a lot of hope coming into the playoffs. The Bobcats will most likely hold that second seed in 2A West. And I guess unless Mountain View loses next week, that's pretty much going to settle that. But good job to the Bobcats either way for fighting in that game. Let's see if the Bobcats can get some revenge here tonight against a team that they lost to back in early October, the Shoshoni Wranglers. And with that, we are underway. Varsity Volleyball on Two Basins Sports Network, brought to you by Kirby Consulting. And the spike, and a heavy one there at the far side. They're going to try to keep things going, and that's going to be 4 touches on the Bobcats. Shoshoni will get the first point of the match. By the way, serving number 3, Kaylor McConaughey, the junior. And the spike from the near side going up to the middle. That's going to hit the top of the net. Shoshoni still keeping it going. The set and the spike goes toward the back, and that is taken back by McConaughey. And diving to the floor there was Macy Jarvis, the sophomore. That's going to be a point for Thermopolis. Layla Epperson back now to serve for the Bobcats. Epperson way back. That's up toward the libero there for Shoshoni. Two-hander back up to Epperson. That's at the top of the net. They keep it alive somehow, some way. Shoshoni playing it in the middle of the floor. The spike coming up. That is out of bounds. Flag goes up off of the spike by Maddie Ramage, the senior. Ramage, I don't know. And this one's going to go back up toward the near side. The tip, that one's going to go way out. That's going to be Shoshoni. Or no, that is going to be a Thermopolis point. They got Shoshoni. They nabbed Shoshoni on something. I couldn't quite see what the call was. I do apologize. 3-1 is the score here. Thermop on top in the first set. Home court advantage this time. But a sea of blue here that came from Shoshoni. A lot of Shoshoni fans in the stands here, here on the broadcast side of the court. 4-1 as that one sails out of bounds from the Lady Blue. Shoshoni's got to get this kind of sorted out a little bit. They've had some power issues in the sub-varsity games, and now it's kind of bled into the varsity game so far as well. And a dive there off the 5. And that one ricocheted off of Izzy Hetzel, wearing a different number than she did in the JV game. But they have it listed on the roster. So thank you for that, at least. Charlie Slagle with the spike. Couldn't get much done there in the middle. Go to the far side. The tip, it'll go into the net. Bobcat point. What in the heck did I just press? It is not 3-8. Please disregard that score. It is 5-2. I accidentally pressed the touchdown button on our score thing, which I'm going to have to program to be 3 points here soon with basketball coming up. By the way, that's another thing, too. Next week we'll be in Grable for some middle school basketball. What a block there by Slagle. Couldn't even finish my promotion. That's going to go into the net there to point for Shoshoni, but what a play by the Cats. Next week we'll be on the road at Grable as the Thermopolis Bobcats open out their middle school girls basketball season against the Grable Buffaloes from the old Grable High School Gymnasium. We'll be live from there on shoot, what is that, October 24th? And the block against Slagle, making short work of it there on the far side. Her and Logan Farrell were the ones responsible for that one. But I think it was Slagle that made the most contact there, 6-3. Bobcats will get this one back. Oh, sorry about that. We got a whistle, and Bobcats will benefit off of 4 touches by the Shoshoni Wranglers. The jump serve coming up here for the number 6 of Millie Johnson. The spike coming up into the floor. So that might have been Johnson that was in that JV game. The spike coming up into the back row. That was off of Jones. The spike off of the 7 of, I want to say that was Paige Jones. And that'll go into the front of the net. Shoshoni will get the point. 4 on the board now for the Lady Blue. Bobcats trying to get some success. I believe they did take down Wind River earlier this past week. Like we said in the freshman game, they seem to have a little bit of luck with the Fremont County teams. They beat Lander in a reverse sweep back in September. That's a spike off of Morgan Jones and way out of bounds. But that being said, that's only the Fremont County teams at home. They beat Lander, they beat Wind River to the best of my knowledge. Then they also beat Arapahoe Charter, the freshman team did. That being said, the freshman team also won the game here against Shoshoni. That is going to be off of one of the Bobcats and out of bounds. Shoshoni clawing their way back here in the opening set, 7-6. Number 21 on the serve for Shoshoni. We'll get that for you in just a moment. Back set, Slagle. That one's tipped. And the nice block there, I do believe that might have been Memphis Dolcater. And that is going to be a timeout, I believe, here for Thermopolis. So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. It is all knotted up at 7 as Thermopolis had a pretty good lead to start the set, but now it's starting to slip away. We'll be right back in less than a minute for the resumption of this game. It is tied up at 7 here in Thermopolis. Great night for volleyball here in Thermopolis. I was honestly kind of wondering if Shoshoni would even make the trip. It was foggy this morning here in Thermop, coming out of the canyon, but that was at 6 o'clock in the morning. It falls short, so Shoshoni will get the point here. Brooklyn Trumpler now into serve. I think this is the first we've seen of her today. That is going to be a flag up on the far side. By the way, the line judge on the far side appears to be Shannon Hill. Finally a face I recognize down there. Off the back end, they're going to try to go to the floor. That is going to go way out of bounds up toward the Bobcat bench. Shoshoni starting to run away with it here in the first 2/5 of this set. We still got about 15 points to go for the leader. Out of bounds on the far side. Hill's flag goes up, and it is going to be considered a side out there for Shoshoni. And the student section chirping over there on the far side, trying to get into the Wranglers' heads here. The set, and the spike into the corner. Flag goes up. The student section actually showing up here. I guess since the Bobcats are all the way in Uintah County, they have to do something on a Friday night. Flag goes up. And the Bobcats, just like that, I guess a little bit of motivation from the student section there as they will tie it up here at 10 apiece. Charlie Slagle now to serve. She'll send it over to the middle side of the floor. The back set, the spike from the middle. Keeps it alive there in the back end. Slagle with the bump. And now we got 2. Oh, that's going to be a big block there. Who was that? The 4 of Cameron Farrell. Tipped into the middle of the point. That looked to be the 8 of Logan Farrell. Or no, did I get that wrong? It was either the 8 or the 6. Or it might have been, I don't know. Someone with blonde hair. It was one of the two. The libero in on the serve, 10 or 11 to 10. Jones keeps it inbounds, and they will bump it back there. That's a big save by Epperson, but it goes into the net. A point for Shoshoni, 12-10. If this is anything like that game in Shoshoni, and now the Shoshoni fans taking the opportunity to chirp back here. Should be a loud place here tonight. You know, I kind of feel like the Bobcats and the Wranglers kind of have a mini rivalry now that the Bobcats don't share a conference with Worland anymore, at least in basketball and volleyball. Oh, that's going to be a big point there for Shoshoni. 4 touches on the Bobcats. But as I was saying, with Thermopolis no longer being in 3A for the indoor sports, I think the closest they have to a rival now is probably Shoshoni. So this is going to be a pretty big thing as long as Thermopolis is still in 2A. I feel like that's going to, and as long as Worland doesn't get moved down to 2A for volleyball or basketball, I feel like it's going to be a pretty good rivalry between the two eventually. And a big dive to the floor there. Paige Jones tried to keep it alive, 14-10. I mean, think about it. They're only 30 minutes apart. The libero on the serve here. This one's going back off of Johnson. Now Epperson. Jones will send it to the far side. The spike, and it was tipped. It'll fall onto the floor there. Shoshoni with their 15th point of the set. They got, oh wow, this has been a flyby first set compared to the JV and freshman games. 15 on the board already for Shoshoni, 10 points to go. Jones, now up to the other Jones. And a spike, and it's blocked. That time it was Addie Mason, the sophomore. A pretty young starting 6 here for the Shoshoni Lady Blue. A lot of sophomores on the starting lineup. The libero there, sending it into the back of the floor. The set. And the bump. This one will go all the way toward the back. The set. And the spike. And that's going to go by. That was Epperson and Johnson that were there on the floor closest to it. And now Shoshoni really starting to run away with it here in this first set. And it is 8 points to set point here in this one for Shoshoni if they can keep a hold of it. The jump serve for Brenna Metzler. And a one-hander there for Jones. Wait, I think. Yep, Paige Jones. Did wear number 20 at one point. Now she's wearing 7. It will be a point there for the Bobcats as it goes underneath the net. 11 on the board now for the purple and gold. Into the corner. Now the set. The spike. That one's going to have way too much juice under it, and the flag goes up on the corner. And maybe that might be the secret. The student section just needs to keep being loud. Last time they were chirping, Bobcats were able to get a handful of points out of it, but not that time, as it will be a net fault here on the purple and gold. Now checking into the game is going to be the 5 of Izzy Hetzel. She's coming in for her second shift in this game. Had a really good JV game. A bit of a quieter one than usual, though, but she was a pretty useful setter, as she always is. The spike and a beautiful reflex there by Jones. Sending it over into the back end. The set, the dummy spike, and now the two-hander. Dropping to the floor. Johnson keeps it alive after a dive by the 5 of Izzy Hetzel. And that will fall onto the Shoshoni side of the net, and that is going to be a Bobcat point, 13-18. Didn't see who got the kill, though. Morgan Jones, the junior, heading out of the game now. She's had a pretty good night here tonight. By the way, a notable omission from the game. J.C. Owsley was seen in street clothes during warm-ups today, and she's there on the bench. Don't know what's going on with her. It'll be a tip and out of bounds off of Shoshoni. It'll be a Thermopolis point. And I feel like they are missing, they are definitely missing some of that impact in the front court here without Owsley on the floor. kind of makes me worried about what the heck's going on there, because like we said, she showed up in street clothes today. She's still in street clothes down there on the bench, and that is going to be an ace for the Bobcats. We need to set up a when basketball season starts, I feel like we need to set up a microphone over there on the student section side of the floor. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. The flag goes up. That's out of bounds on Shoshoni. Thermopolis. And it's feeling like a basketball atmosphere here with the student section. That's off the libero. And that was a bit of a blunder there by Brenna Metzler, the senior, not able to keep it inside the paint. Student section continuing to cause ruckus over on the far side. That one just barely clears the net. There'll be a bump over to the far side. Now Epperson with it. Jones sets it up for the spike. Millie Johnson to the near side, and it was a whistle and a point on the Bobcats. It looked like they were about ready to set up something with Brooklyn Trimpler. Bobcats tied up at 18. The jump serve, it clears. That goes to the libero. The spike, keeping it alive, tries to go to the floor, and what a kill. And I do believe responsible for it there was the number 14 of Maddie Ramage, or Ramage, however you pronounce that. The senior was there on the kill for Shoshoni. And now here comes the serve, number 3, Kayla McConaughey, the junior. The set and a tip. Not much of one here. It'll be a spike this time. No, a little bit of a slightly harder tip there. Oh, the spike, that's blocked, and it's going to be a point. They called something there on the Bobcats. I think they might have gotten the net. 20 on the board for Shoshoni, 5 points to go. This first set, like we said, has gone by super quickly. The set and the spike. Trying to work at the middle of the floor. Kayla McConaughey on the set, and the spike by Ramage. They're going to get this one back in through the middle now onto the Bobcat head. This one's going to go to the back end. Addie Mason there to get it. The spike for the far end, still keeping it going. And this is going to be very dangerous. It's Shoshoni trying to answer here their 4th possession here. And the set on the front of the net. The spike, and the block goes wrong. That's a Bobcat point. 19 on the board now for Thermopolis. Layla Epperson now ready to serve. Sets it up into the back. That's a blunder there by the 21 of Brooklyn Trimpler. The senior, I think she was trying to make the set there. She was trying to push up to the front of the court. The front of the court past the attack line, and just didn't work out. The set did not go right. The libero tried to chase it down there. Now with the left hand, that is going to go off the 5. The set, the spike from the back end of the floor. And through the middle. Good placement there by Ramage. That's going to go up through the Bobcat head. Contested. That's going to be a point for Shoshoni. And right there on it was Macy Jarvis, the sophomore. Not quite sure you can count that as a block, but it was definitely, I think she definitely had something to do with it there. And it was more of the net doing its thing, but she probably intimidated them enough. Jones now setting up at Slagle on the spike, and what a kill! It's all knotted up at 21. Like we said, this is revenge time now for the Bobcats. They lost on the road 3-1 to Shoshoni. The final set ended 27-25. They're not trying to repeat that again. The set and the spike. This is, oh, what a block! That's going to go back into the Bobcat side. The set, the spike by Johnson to the floor. That's going to be up toward Epperson now. Johnson, nope, check that. It's not going to be Johnson on the bump. That's going to be 4. Miscommunication there. Peyton Green was the last one to touch it. 22-21, Shoshoni retaking the lead, and they're pinballing here in this first set to try to get the lead back. Number 1 on the serve, that's Macy Jarvis. The spike, out of bounds. A good attempt, though, by the 8 of Logan Farrell. And timeout Bobcats. They'll use their First timeout, I think, according to the umpire. Nope, their second timeout. That's what I thought, because we had them down as one timeout. But we'll be right back here in just a minute. Bobcats use their second timeout of the first set. And it's been an entertaining one from start to finish so far. 23-21, Shoshoni leads in set number one. Like talking you back here, Thermopolis Bobcats and Shoshoni Wranglers on Two Basins Sports Network, brought to you by Kirby Consulting, serving the Rockies and Western Plains since 2014. Kirby Consulting is your elite oil field professionals and a proud sponsor of Thermopolis Volleyball on Two Basins Sports Network. And that is a point there for the Bobcats right off the bat. And looks like we got some subs coming on. Morgan Jones back into the game for the Bobcats. And the ball went all the way out toward the entrance of the staircase, I believe, as Shoshoni's coach was trying to chase it down there. The set and the spike. What a block! Through the middle, the Bobcats reject it! And it was a good opportunity by Memphis Stolkader in the middle, but Charlie Slagle, you always got to take her into account in the middle of the floor. What a block. That was a bit of a light tap there. Jones. Now the spike. I forgot who that was by, number 8. Logan Farrell. She's been a threat today so far. The spike off the top of the net, still going. Jones on the spike there. And that was up at a block. The point kill made by Addie Mason. Charlie Slagle and Logan Farrell were there on the block attempt. 24-23. It is set point for the Shoshoni Wranglers. Lady Blue, whatever you want to call them. That was off. That's going to go into the banner. Still alive though for Shoshoni. Epperson there to meet it. The spike by Jones. It's off. That's going to fall to the floor. Last touch by Memphis Stolkader, and that'll tie it up at 24. Charlie Slagle on the serve for the Bobcats. Sends it over cleanly. Almost got the ace there. Far side, the spike, and it's going to be tipped, and it's going to fall onto the other side. A kill made by Kaylor McConaughey. Once again, set point for the Wranglers. They've been an exciting program to watch so far tonight. The libero almost line faulted there. Going to go from the far side, and Shannon Hill's flag goes up, and it looks like an antenna violation. And that is going to conclude the opening set, and a very entertaining one at that. The Shoshoni Wranglers lead 1-0 here in this match so far. They got to win 2 more sets to win the game. We're going to be right back in just a moment as Shoshoni leads here on the road, trying to sweep the Bobcats in 2025. We'll be right back for the start of the second set. Do not go anywhere. You will not want to miss the rest of this match. Like talking back here inside the Bobcat Den here at Hot Springs County High School. Not an official name, but it's a nickname to us here. As we get ready for the start of the second quarter, I'd like to remind you today's game brought to you by Kirby Consulting, serving the Rockies and Western Plains since 2014. Kirby Consulting is your elite oilfield professionals and a proud sponsor of Bobcat Volleyball on Two Basins Sports Network. 30 seconds to go in the intermission. Both teams already starting to get out and get ready for this second set, and a very exciting first set it was. Thermopolis Bobcats fell by 2, and it was a very entertaining one. Let's see if the second set is anywhere near that caliber. The Shoshoni Wranglers and the Thermopolis Bobcats kept it close in the game in Shoshoni, just south of the Boysen Reservoir. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Shoshoni, the reservoir that's just adjacent to the town, is our logo. And we're calling the game for the exact opposite team's behalf. Well, technically they're calling them for both of them, but Layla Epperson will get set to serve here for the Bobcats. Thermopolis received this opening serve on the first set. 25 more points left. It's a free game now here in the second set. That's going to go up toward the baseline. Somehow Shoshoni keeps it alive. Near side. Now here comes, I believe that was Jones. Now here comes Shoshoni sending it back over into the net. That's going to be a point for the Bobcats. 4 touches. Now getting ready to serve is Layla Epperson, the libero. The set. Spike coming up from the middle. Been really impressed with Maddie Ramage today. She's been a threat in the middle all day. The spike coming up, and it's tipped from the near side. A great serve, or a great spike by Macy Jarvis. Up to the libero now. That was Metzler. And now the spike through the middle again. Not really a spike, but a two-handed tip. That's the second one Maddie Ramage has gotten a hand on in this rally. The flag goes up by Shannon Hill. That's going to be a point for the Bobcats. Student section still here. I'm pretty sure a couple of them probably went to the concession stand, but they're still here. The back set and the double-hander there. Millie Johnson in on this here on the spike. The set. And Ramage, one-handed save attempt. That's out of bounds. A good try by Peyton Green, the senior, though. Good try. Kaylor McConaughey up to serve now for Shoshoni. The set. The spike by Slagle, and it's blocked. Into the net it goes. 2-2 here. Tied up here in the second set. Drops to the floor. Green. And now it's going to be Slagle, and they got somebody there. That is going to be a net violation, I believe, there on Shoshoni. Substitution here for Thermopolis. 3-2 is your score. By the way, for those who missed us at the top of the show, Thermopolis Bobcats took on the Mountain View Buffaloes today for football. Thermopolis was losing 0-21 at the half. While they still lost the game, it's not as bad as it could have been. Mountain View won 28-21. So a very close contest. If they would have just had a little bit more in that first half, probably would have been a win for the Bobcats, and they would have remained undefeated. And looks like a point here for Shoshoni. Didn't handle the ball very legally there. That'll be 3-3. Another sub here for Thermopolis. Didn't catch who it was. We believe it might be it might be Millie Johnson. The set, Slagle on the spike, finds it to the far side corner. Goes up back to the middle, it's tipped, and that is going to shank off to 7 of Paige Jones. They still keep it in somehow. That's going to go up toward the corner, and you got to give them A for effort there. That was beautiful, trying to keep it in there. Just unfortunately goes from one end of the floor to the other, or out of bounds on one end to out of bounds on the other. Now the jump serve here for the 14 of Maddie Ramaj. Ramaj on the reception there. Good defense by the Wranglers. 4-3 is your score. The set. Slagle on the spike up to the far side. That was up to McConaughey. Now Dolcater back up to Ramaj, and now that's going to go back up. Bobcats still keeping it alive. Slagle, one hand keeps it alive. Dive into the floor. Epperson there off of Green. Now sent back over out of bounds. Check that. It was actually off of Jones, and then Green sent it back over. That was out of bounds, out the back off of Green. Shoshoni up 5-3. Ramaj up to serve now. The jump serve in the back. Epperson. Jones, and now Slagle, and that's off the fist to the 4. And that's a point for Slagle. Addie Mason surrendered the point there for Shoshoni. Morgan Jones now checking into the game for the Lady Bobcats. Millie Johnson to serve now. Drops to her knee. The set. Spike from Dolcater on the near side. A powerful one in Memphis. Dolcater will get the kill. 6-4, Shoshoni on top. Still a close second set. A very entertaining game to watch. That's going to go out of bounds. A shank on the far side there for Thermopolis. That'll go up toward the far side of the umpire ladder side there. And they got Thermopolis there on a rotation thing there. Haven't seen them get, we saw Shoshoni get called for that a couple times during the JV game, but not, we haven't seen that for the purple and gold yet tonight. I think they got called for that a couple times against Powell as well, if my memory serves me. And Slagle tries to go for the spike on the broadcast side, 9-4. And Thermopolis will use their first timeout of the second set. We're going to step aside. We'll take a quick breather. Shoshoni leads 9-4. We'll be right back from inside of the Bobcat Den here in just a minute. Shoshoni leads here in the second set. Macy Jarvis getting ready to serve. I'd like to welcome you back here inside of Hot Springs County High School. Today's broadcast brought to you by Kirby Consulting, proud sponsor of Thermopolis Bobcat Volleyball on TBSN, the voice of the Bobcats. Shoshoni, a spike off of the 6 of Memphis Dolcater. That's going to go out the end line there, and Charlie Slagle now in to serve. Try to go from the middle of the tip. Keeps it alive. Beautiful dive. And now the set. The spike. The tip. Keeping it alive. Millie Johnson there to grab it. And it was a double team there. Probably not the smartest idea, as they'll get called for the 4. And Shoshoni, the first one's into double digits here in the second set. And they'll send it back. Epperson, now the spike coming up for Jones. Received there by, Ramaj, and she'll get the kill too. Number 21, Brooklyn Trumpler up to serve, and the dive by Epperson, and an ace for Brooklyn Trumpler. Shoshoni firing on all cylinders here. 12-5, a much better set compared to the first for them. And a miscommunication deluxe down there on the corner. Paige Jones and, Layla Epperson were down there. The two that were trying to go for the ball, one of them backed off. The other was like, I thought you were going to go for it. 13-5. Jones, and now that is going to go off of the 8 of Logan Farrell. Just a little bit, the throttle kind of stuck there a little bit there for the 8. That's off of Johnson, now Jones. And now the tip over by Cameron Farrell. The spike, that's going to go up toward the custodian over there on the far side. So, unfortunately, he doesn't get to keep that as a souvenir. The 21 of Brooklyn Schrumpler back to serve again. She got an ace earlier. Jones. Now Millie Johnson. This one's going to get delivered into the back row. And that is Dolcater, and what a block! Number 4, Cameron Farrell in on the block there. Beautiful job. Logan Farrell now to serve. Barely skirts over the net there. Dolcater on the spike. Beautiful placement there. Bobcats will have a chance to go. And that's going to be return. Oh, they try to return to sender. That's going to go through the net. 7 on the board now for the Bobcats. They'll have back-to-back serves coming up. It will be Logan Farrell up to serve now. The sophomore. Back row. The set and the spike. That one tipped and it still goes over. Ricochet, but Addie Mason there on the kill for the Lady Blue. Logan Farrell going to serve again. Oh, check that. Actually, they ruled it out of bounds. I apologize. Thought for sure that was a Bobcat tip, but it looks like they will rule it Bobcat point. Oh, there they go! Keeping it alive somehow! What a play for Shoshoni. And going through the middle. Beautiful slam there by the 6. Memphis Dolcater with a heck of a kill. Here they go again, trying to go through the middle. I'm trying to think of a clever name for that related to the general area. I was thinking more like the Kamal weight kill or whatever. That wouldn't make much sense. And a timeout called for the Bobcats. They'll be their second timeout of the game. And with that being said, 17-8. Forget the scoreboard there. 17-8, Shoshoni on top. We'll be right back in just a moment. You're watching Varsity Volleyball from the 2A Northwest on Two Basins Sports Network, the voice of the Bobcats. Like talking back here inside of the Bobcat Den here in Thermopolis, home of the Thermopolis Bobcats, Hot Springs County High School. The libero for Shoshoni now up to serve. The spike, this one will go into the back end off of Epperson. And that one will be bumped up. This will be a huge chance here. A tip. Not much, but all she needed there. Bobcats trying to go for another attack. A little bit of a tip. The spike and a nice tip. And that's going to be 4. Nope, it is not. I apologize. And sending up to the back row. Libero's going to have to try and get this one here. They'll move it back up to the front. Addie Mason sends it over for Shoshoni. Morgan Jones up to the libero. A diving stop for Brianna Metzler. And that's going to go off of Millie Johnson and out of bounds, and Shoshoni will get another point, a 10-point lead. And they are 7 points away from concluding this set and leading 2-0. Let's see. Remember, Shoshoni did kind of give up a set against the Bobcats in Shoshoni, trying to go for a clean sweep here on the road, especially following that loss to Grable where they were swept in Shoshoni. 19-8. Brenna Metzler. I've been calling her Brianna all day. I apologize. It's Brenna. Brenna Metzler on the serve. Ooh, just barely skirts away without the 4. Millie Johnson there to touch it first, and now Jones, and then I want to say Cameron Farrell. The spike from the corner there. Beautiful job by Addie Mason. Even better reception. Morgan Jones tips it over. Mason there to get it. From the far side, the spike, it hits the net. Jones now up to the middle. This is going to go up into the back end of the floor. McConaughey, now the spike. That's going to be shanked up, and that's going to go onto the walking track. Actually, it might have hit one of the HVAC pipes up there. 20-8. Shoshoni with a commanding lead here in the second period. Bobcats definitely missing a lot of, and there is, Kylie Corpening's pen decided it wanted to try to play as a 7th man. Morgan Jones now up to the, oh, what a block. Maddie Ramage looked effortless there, but a good try by Paige Jones there in the middle. Actually, no, that might not have been Paige Jones. I think it was Cameron Farrell that went for the spike. Good effort by both sides there. Just unfortunately, Ramage had the angle on it. The set. Johnson with the bump. Gets it over. The set and the spike. Ramage to the back end. Millie Johnson there to receive it. And they'll send it back over again. Falls to the floor and finally breaks the scoring streak here. Cameron Farrell on the kill. 21-9 here. Peyton Green to serve now. Into the back end. The set. The spike. Tipped. And that's going to fall to the floor. Shoshoni on the point. And here they go. The set. The spike from Johnson to the far side. It's tipped. Shoshoni going to try and counter here on the attack. The spike, that's going to go right on through Epperson. And that one just kind of went through. That just went through Epperson like a meal at Taco Bell. 23-9. That's going to go to the near side. Jones there to get it. Now the double-hander by Farrell. The set, the spike from the near side. Out of bounds. That was off of the 4, I believe, of Addie Mason. Good try. Bobcats will get the consolation prize here. They will get into double digits in this set at least. The serve from Epperson. Now that'll shank off toward the trash can and out of bounds. So they will at least get another point out of it. 11 on the board. Gets it to the near side and shanks it out of bounds. Bobcat point again, 3 straight here for Thermopolis. Epperson still serving. Sends it to the back end. The libero there to get it. And Ramage there to the middle. Pushed it to the far side, thinking she could get there, and Slagle will put it into the back of the floor there. 24 on the board now for Shoshoni. And the serve is coming up. And the spike there, or well, rather the tip by Slagle. And the spike, that's going to go, that flag goes up. And the line judge will say that it went out, and it was pretty convincingly up here too. 13 on the board for Thermopolis. They'll get the point back. Still set point for Shoshoni. So let's see if the Bobcats can continue here the way that they've been doing. If they can try to eke a couple more points, they're probably not going to win the set. That's kind of a given right now. It's 24. Puts it up into the middle. The set. Remember what they did against Lander, though, the reverse sweep against a team that is probably a lot better than Shoshoni as well. I mean, one's in 2A, one's in 3A. I guess you could probably make that. Oh, that's a, net violation. And Shoshoni will win the second set. They are now up 2-0. One set away from the sweep. 25-13, the final score of that set. At minimum, one more set to go here in this one. If the Bobcats don't win, if the Bobcats don't win the set, it's over. But we will be right back here in just a moment. Shoshoni leads 2-0 at the end of two. We'll be right back. You are watching Varsity Volleyball on Two Basins Sports Network, the voice of the Bobcats. Talking back here inside of Hot Springs County High School, home of the Bobcats. What could be our last volleyball broadcast of the season, not including the freshman volleyball game against Lander. This will probably be our last varsity broadcast, though. I don't know if we'll be able to go to Grable tomorrow. We will not be able to attend senior night against Rocky or go to Wright. Because of middle school basketball. We are going to be broadcasting every single middle school basketball game, assuming our car doesn't give out again. If it does, I am going to throw something. Because we've already missed like 3 volleyball games because of that stupid freaking car. And still haven't heard anything back about the part, but that's beside the point. Third set coming up here for the Bobcats. Shoshoni has won the first 2 sets. If they win this one, they win the match. And that will greatly improve their record in 2A Northwest. And we're back underway. Morgan Jones to receive. She'll go from the near side. It's blocked and returned to sender. Having trouble remembering, though. I think it might have been Maddie Ramage. If not, it was definitely Macy Jarvis on the block. The serve by McConaughey goes to the back end. Pushes it over. The libero there to get it. The spike coming up, and it's blocked. Return to sender, and it goes out of bounds. McConaughey on her second serve. Received by Epperson. And they'll return it back, and Epperson's going to shake it out toward the baseline. Shoshoni with their third straight point. And the serve. Through the middle here, the set and the tip. McConaughey, and now up to Jarvis. And that's going to be back up. That's 4 points now straight for Shoshoni. McConaughey just has been through 4 straight serves here. The spike, it's tipped, out of bounds, flag goes up. So that will be a Bobcat point. They will end the streak there, 4-1. And this will be Epperson up to serve now for Thermopolis. Sends it all the way back, ducks for cover, flag goes up. Bobcats forfeit the point there, 5-1 Shoshoni. Now serving is going to be Maddie Ramage. Sends it up into the back. The set. Slagle on the spike and a kill. Beautiful play on offense. Well executed there. One of the few things that has gone right so far in this third set, but Slagle right there found it. She's usually pretty good about finding a space open on the floor for those spikes. Sets it up toward the net. That's going to be a point for Thermopolis as it goes out underneath the station there. Morgan Jones to serve now for the Bobcats. And a net fault. Gives it right up there to the Wranglers. And we got a substitute come on. It looks like just as quickly as she came off, she's coming back on. It is Paige Jones. Into the banner, the stop, and the spike. It's going to go into the net. Another point for Shoshoni. And they are almost, well, shoot, I wouldn't say a fourth of the way there, but definitely a fifth of the way there to concluding this match. Slagle again. No, man, that's still up in the air. Slagle finds the corner again. She's had to touch that like 3 or 4 different times. The spike coming up off of Morgan Jones. Beautiful job there getting it to the corner. And the spike coming up off of Charlie Slagle. Shoshoni going to try to counter. They will heave it back up behind them. Morgan Jones with a little bit of a tip. 7-3 here, trying to make it 8-3. The block, beautiful job keeping it going. Shoshoni still keeps it alive. The spike from the far side, trying to get that element of surprise. Shoshoni continues to keep it going. Maddie Ramage into the net. That's a Bobcat point. That was Logan Farrell on the kill there for the Bobcats, 7-4. And now it looks like serving will be Peyton Green, the senior. And that's going to fall short of the net. 5-7. Bobcats still trail by 2, but it's a better situation than what they were in. And that's going to be kept inbound somehow, some way. Charlie Slagle on the spike and a little too much juice on it. 8-5 Shoshoni. They'll keep it alive. That is off of Logan Farrell, 9-5. And now here comes number 21, Brooklyn Trumpler, into serve. And that one will find the net on the fault. Nine to 6. They score this, they'll be 2/5 of the way. Or sorry, if Shoshoni scores, they'll be 2/5 of the way to ending the set and the match. As a result, that's going to be to the near side as Slagle tries to dive for it. A very good attempt there, but unfortunately just couldn't quite get there in time. Let me double check to make sure that was actually her. Yeah, well, it was number 15. And two-hander off of Cameron Farrell. They're going to try and counter the spike. Good job by Addie Mason on the delivery, and almost goes head first into the scorers table, 10-6. Or sorry, 11-6. Serving, by the way, is Brenna Metzler, the senior libero. She'll serve, gets up into the back. Dives for it, keeps it alive somehow. Gets it into the back end. Tips it. And into the net it goes, and unfortunately just a little bit of net troubles there for Logan Farrell and Cameron Farrell. (12-6). And tips it, underhands it there. The set. Johnson on the spike, a little bit off direction there. The set, spike again from the middle. This one's going to go to the deep back end here. Works its way back up to the front past the attack line. Longest rally of the set so far. The spike. Jones, and now up to the 4 again to Farrell, keeping it going. Back set, the spike. And not a mistake we see often from Maddie Ramage. Now I'll give the Bobcats the ball back here. Now serving is going to be Logan Farrell. Sends it into the back. The set. The spike, Ramage gets it. Beautiful job. A beautiful set there as well by Brooklyn Trumpler. Shoshoni fans getting loud here in Thermopolis. Addie Mason on the serve now for the Wranglers. And they're going to work their way back up to the near side. McConaughey sends it over. Epperson there to receive it. The set and the spike by Johnson. There to get it was Ramage. The spike by Ramage as well. Into the corner, flag goes up. Substitution coming on. It is Morgan Jones. Heading off the floor is Peyton Green. Now serving is going to be Millie Johnson. Millie Johnson's usually been a bright spot in this varsity team. That's going to go back there. The flag goes up. 9-13. Bobcats just being patient here, taking advantage of the Wranglers' mistakes here in this set. And a net fault for Johnson. I should have kept my mouth shut. I guess the commentator's curse is real. 14-9. Serve is McConaughey again. I could have sworn she just served on that last possession. Guess not. Goes up to the back end. The libero there to get it. Works its way up back to the middle. Back set. I believe Izzy Hetzel's into the game now, I believe. That flag goes up. That's going to be Bobcat point as it was touched by the Wranglers. Charlie Slagle checking back into the game. It looks like coming out is going to be Cameron Farrell, the senior, heading to the bench for a rest. Epperson on the serve. Back into libero. The set, the spike, and a block by Slagle. Hetzel, Jones, Slagle middle. It's tipped. Sent over by Ramage. Punches it over, that's Jones, and now it's Metzler with it. Sent over by Trumpler, and the flag goes up. Another Bobcat point, 11 on the board. Epperson will serve again. This will be back-to-back serves now for the senior. That is going to be another point. Make that 3 and an ace. And Shoshoni will use their first timeout. And so both teams have now used a timeout, so we will be right back. Shoshoni, just the latest one to use it. 14-12, Shoshoni still leads, but for how long? We'll be right back from Hot Springs County High School in just a moment. We would like to welcome you back here inside of Hot Springs County High School. Shoshoni currently sitting 11 points away from winning the set, but they just called a timeout because Thermopolis is getting a little too close for comfort. Both teams now sit at one timeout a pop here in this one. Epperson sends it over very cleanly into the deep end of the floor. The spike and the block doesn't go as planned. And the kill by Brooklyn Trumpler. She has had a set so far. She's been a really good setter all game, and she's been putting a lot of her teammates in very good positions to make good spikes, and that was just another one of them. Maddie Ramage in to serve now for Shoshoni. Sends it over into the back end. That is going to be just barely salvaged by the Bobcats. That's going to go up, and Shannon Hill has to duck for cover. It's kind of like one of those air traffic controllers, the way she was moving there. 16-12 is your score. Shannon Hill, former volleyball coach, I believe actually led them to the state playoffs last year. And now she is holding a flag. Maddie Ramage on the serve. That's going to go off with a shank there for the Bobcats. Ramage will get a second serve here. Sends it over into the corner. That one's going to go out toward diving to the bleachers and almost went head first into him. Just kind of slid like a penguin there. Just went chest first and just had her arms out like, whee! Maddie Ramage back to serve. That was Morgan Jones to touch it. Now it's Paige Jones. Now it's Charlie Slagle. Fall to the floor. What a save. Shoshoni keeps it alive. So Cater was the first one to touch it. The spike by Morgan Jones will not work. That is going to be a point for Shoshoni. 19 on the board. Timeout must have worked. Maddie Ramage up to serve now for the Lady Blue. Sends that one up to the floor. Almost an ace there. Sends it up. That is shanked up toward the senior poster, and that is going to be 13 on the board for Thermop. Paige Jones coming off the floor, and it looks like it'll be the 10 of Mackenzie Buckner, the freshman, coming on. Swing into the back court there. That's going to be Epperson shanking it off to the bleachers. and sends this one into the backcourt. The set and the spike by Decatur that lands in the Bobcat side. That'll be a point for Shoshoni, a football score with 4 points left in this match. Thermopolis Bobcats will take on the Grayville Buffaloes tomorrow in Grayville. We will not be in attendance, though, because of our vehicle, unless the president can offer a Air Force One escort. It's a Grayville, which I don't think that's ever going to happen. Morgan Jones on the serve. The spike. And that's Jones. That's Slagle. Beautiful work there. The spike to the far side and out of bounds. Flag goes up. Bobcat point. 15 on the board. Still a football score here. Bobcats will have the serve now. Morgan Jones. The junior. Sends it into the backcourt. The set. The spike by Decatur. Try to keep it alive. Decatur will get the point there. 22 for Shoshoni. 3 points to go in the match. It's been a fantastic game up to this point. A very entertaining first couple of sets and a timeout called. So we will be right back, and referee just signaled one timeout apiece, so we got our timeouts completely wrong there. We'll be right back in just a moment. I'd like to welcome you back here inside of Hot Springs County High School, home of the Bobcats. 22-15 in this third set. And now getting ready to serve number 21. She'll send it over the net. That was Brooklyn Trumpler. She's had a great game so far tonight. And still, oh, that's going to go for the Bobcats, though. 22-16. Once they get to the 23rd point, we'll deliver our player of the game. That goes under the net. Bobcats trying to stay in this game. It's a 5-point difference between the two teams here. Charlie Slagle to serve. Sends it over. The set. The spike. That will fall to the floor. Shoshoni point. Time to deliver your player of the game, and I'm going to give it to Maddie Ramage. This was a very easy choice. Honorable mentions include Memphis Decatur and who else? Brenna Metzler. Also for the Bobcats, Charlie Slagle, Logan Farrell, and Millie Johnson are our honorable mentions today for the Bobcats. As always, I'd like to remind you today's game brought to you by Kirby Consulting. Here on match point here in this game. What could be our last varsity broadcast of the season. And pushes it over despite the net. And the spike falls to the floor. Bobcats score. And they'll keep the game alive for just a little bit longer. Sends it over into the backcourt. Into the net it goes. Shoshoni forfeiting another point there. 19 on the board now for Thermopolis. 5-point game here. Still match point for Shoshoni. Sends it up into the back row. The set. The spike. That was Ramage on the touch there. Now here they go. The tip. The set. Ramage through the middle, the spike, and it's blocked, sent back in the whistle. Bobcat point. Now Bobcats will break into the 20s here. It's looking like that fourth set all over again, pretty much. Sends it over, the dive, the bump. Sending it over is Ramaj. Jones. The set, and now Johnson gets it to the back. The set and the spike. Ramaj gets it. That's game. Maddie Ramaj with the final kill of the game, and Shoshoni wins 3-0 over the Thermopolis Bobcats. And the Wranglers have swept the Bobcats in 2025 conference play. 3-0 was the final, and what a game it was for the first couple of sets. And then after that, Shoshoni just kind of put, I'm not going to say all of it on here, but they just completely put belt to behind tonight. And they wrangled a win again. Not very many of those this season, unfortunately, for the Wranglers, but should be pretty good heading into regionals in a couple of weeks. With that being said, the final score, like we said, 3-0 here. Shoshoni with the victory over the Bobcats. They've won both games. A combined set total of 6 sets won, 1 set lost over the 2 games played home and away. Of course, we wish the Shoshoni Wranglers a safe drive home, especially with how foggy it's been in the canyon lately, past couple of days for some reason. Of course, with that being said, thank you to the Shoshoni Wranglers fans for coming out today and supporting your Wranglers. Thank you to the Bobcat fans for showing up today. Not as many fans as we saw a couple of broadcasts ago, but definitely enough to make some noise. Our next time that we'll be on the air, we're looking at potentially being back on the air for freshman volleyball against Lander Valley. Appears to be our next scheduled broadcast. We are, like we said, we're not going to Grable because of transportation issues. Unfortunately for us, I was going to try to go to Grable tomorrow, but I don't think. I mean, I was scared to death driving that big thing over to the high school just down the street. So freshman volleyball. Then we got some varsity football coming up on October 23rd. Of course, that's car permitting as well. As the Meeteetse Longhorns take on the Riverside Rebels for their senior night, I believe, at Longhorn Stadium in Meeteetse. Some 6-man football, the first time that's ever been broadcasted on TBSN. And then October 24th, we got some middle school basketball for you. The girls' basketball season begins on the 24th in Grable against the Grable Buffaloes. With that being said, that's going to do it for our coverage of volleyball on Two Basins Sports Network. The freshman team won 2-0. JV lost 1-2. And the varsity team lost 3-0. And with that being said, we are going to conclude it here today. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, your support is appreciated. And until next time, please drive home safe and do not pet the buffalo. The Shoshoni Wranglers wrangle the Bobcats 3-0.